Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Smart HVAC Marketing Podcast. My name is Eric Thomas, and I am the host of the show. And we are joined by Ted Fox from Fox and Sons. Ted, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Eric. It's great music to start today's show.
Get
Thank
you
you.
get you fired up, right? Get you
Yeah,
nice and
not
excited.
bad. Not bad at all.
Well, Ted, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them a little bit more about your company?
Sure. Yeah. Like Eric said, I'm Ted Fox. I run Fox Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electrical, formerly Fox and Sons, and we are, as the name says, a plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical home service company operating out of Vernon, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, wow. That's
Wow.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. You are our second guest from Canada.
Nice.
We had one from Newfoundland a while
Oh yeah.
back. How far are you from there?
It's like the other side of the world.
Oh, really?
I think I'm closer to Japan than I am to Newfoundland.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I
the
don't think.
far side of Canada from me.
Let's see, British Columbia. Let's see where that's at on the map.
We're just north of California. We're directly north of Washington.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see it now. Nice. So is it it's pretty cold up there, I imagine.
Uh, in lots of places in Canada, it is. We're pretty fortunate. We live in a place that's super temperate, so it's gonna be close to in Fahrenheit. It'll be close to 90 today. Um,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, it's
Really?
we yeah we live in wine country where I live. We've lots of vineyards, and we've got so we have vineyards in the valleys and ski hills in the mountains, and so it's not what you'd expect.
Yeah. Dang, 90 degrees. That's warmer than it is here in Virginia Beach, and we're on the East Coast down farther south than that.
Yeah, we still get winter where I am. We'll get a little bit of snow, and it kind of hovers around freezing during the
Mhm.
winter time, but it gets hot here in the summertime. But that's
Wow.
like I say, we're a fairly localized little area like that. But the West Coast is fairly temperate, anyways.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
see
good.
I'm looking at a map now. I'm seeing Vernon. You said there I see some wineries, see some lakes.
You
This
betcha.
looks like a really nice place. Could check
I
this out
I,
sometime.
I like it. I,
Yeah.
I like living here. Um, it's home. It's home to me.
Yeah. So you've lived there your whole life, huh?
I've lived in British Columbia my whole life. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did move to Alberta for a little while, but my family, my roots are here in Vernon. I'm the sixth generation of my family to live here, so
Wow.
we're kind of homesteaders in this area.
Yeah.
So but it definitely is it's one of the best places on earth. I think I don't ever think I'll be moving away.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Thank you.
So you guys are essentially really a full service home services company, plumbing,
Yes, sir.
heating, cooling, and electrical. Um, shouldn't say full service because there's like roofing and the other stuff, but you cover a lot of the trades in the home, which is really cool. So, how long have you all been in business? How did you get your start in the trades, and
Sure.
um, what are some things that have helped you all grow over the years?
Sure thing. So the short version is I was going to when I graduated high school I was going to go become a teacher. I was an English major, and when I went to for my first day of like meeting the professors and getting organized with the school, I was waiting for a meeting with one professor, and there was this thing they called it the Canadian Achievement Test. It's just kind of like it was a way to waste an hour to go take this test. But what I ended up finding out is it was a pre-qualification to get into a trades program that was there. So after leaving the college that day and thinking about things, I was like, well, both my dad and my older brother were plumbers, and if I went and did a trade for a few years, I could make the money to pay for my education instead of getting into student loans and things like that. So I decided to go down that path of becoming a plumber to pay for my schooling, and I started that, and I never looked back. I've just kind of enjoyed it, enjoyed being a tradesman, and then what that's led to, which is eventually into business ownership. So right a few years later, my dad started Fox. It was called EL Fox and Sons Plumbing and Heating, and I joined in with him a couple months after he started it. And it just basically was the two of us, sometimes with a helper for a good 13, 14 years like that. Fairly just doing good work. Couple guys in a van or two kind of company. And 2008, I purchased 50%, being a 50% partner with my dad. And in 2012, I purchased the remaining 50%. And around that 2012 mark, took the company in a new direction, holding on to the values and stuff that we established, but more with a growth mindset and to grow and basically have it not all be me, but be a larger thing than I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what are some ways that you all have utilized marketing and advertising to help promote the business throughout the years?
So the first 15, 16 years, like I said, with my dad was all word of mouth.
Hmm.
We dabbled a little bit in the yellow pages back then, throw something out here or there, sometimes on the radio, but it was very much a word of mouth company. Um, since taking over, I've taken marketing on as one of the most important functions of my company, of what I've done. So the gamut is, I mean, we do it all. Uh, Direct mail, SEO, pay per click, Google local service ads. So everything online that you can think of. We do, thank you cards. We do billboards. We do television commercials, radio. So we really do a full wide gamut, but we obviously couldn't do that all at once. So the way the way I've always attacked marketing is pick one thing and be really good at it and measure it and watch your KPIs, watch what that thing's returning, see if it makes sense for you to continue doing that thing, and if it does, maybe expand it a bit. And when you've really got that locked down, so you know what you're making and you're doing with your marketing dollars there, then add the next thing in, and then add the next thing in, and just basically continue what you're doing. Don't jump into something and jump out of it, and jump into something else and jump out of it, because that's a great way to throw your money down the drain.
Yeah. So, what were some of those things that you have done exceptionally well in?
Okay. Um, Exceptionally well for us is mail. Direct mail is something that works for us because we're really good at it. Uh, I think top of mind advertising, radio and television, that kind of stuff is it's more difficult to put your fingers around, but it is something when you get to a certain point that's worth dabbling in. And the other thing I think that we do really well is partner with good companies. So like website companies and people that can monitor and watch um, your returns online. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's I think those are things that we've done well on is know what you know and know what you don't know, and partner with good people who can provide you some of these services.
Nice. So, you said that you all are doing the LSA ads and a lot of stuff online as well.
It's
Of the different efforts you've put into online advertising and digital marketing, what are some of the ones that you felt provided the best return on investment for you?
online, hey. That's tough because I think pay per click is great because you can essentially capture, if you're top of mind out there anyways, you can capture those leads as people. Like, I always think pay-per-click is that emergency call, hey, my water heater's flooding or whatever. I hop on my phone, and whoever's at the top probably is going to get my call. So pay-per-click is great because you can measure your return on it so well. If and I say this to everybody, if you're going to go marketing yourself, man, you got to watch what it's bringing in and actually calculate it to understand it. But pay-per-click is great because it's an easy thing to track. Um, the SEO side of things, or like your organic searches, is another thing that's important. So I think you need a good combination of both SEO and pay-per-click. Google local service ads is like a lot of people make a big to do about it. I think if you can be in it, you should be, because it is a cheaper form of pay-per-click, and it works really well if you're set up properly and can run those calls. But I think mainly with the online stuff, I'd say a great website, like a really well converting, well performing website with good relevant information that's updated well, is probably the best thing you can have. And then just start working at funneling calls to it.
Yeah. So, what are some of the elements of a website that you feel are uh, critical for it to be a high converting website that helps users find what they're looking for?
Understood. It needs to be responsive. It needs to load really quickly and be really easy to move. It needs less information, not more. It shouldn't have a billion words on it, just talking about everything you do. It should be relevant to the people who are using it to contact you. So it should give many, many places where they can actually click a button to call you or contact you or email you. It should have all the different ways that you can be contacted via, forms you could fill out, chat, whatever. It needs to be super, super easy that way. And it also needs to look like you. It needs to look like your company, so that anybody who logs onto it knows that they're at the right place immediately if they were looking for you. And if not, they understand who's going to be showing up at their door. Because so many people that I see in the trades, like, and this is no offense to any of us out there, we're all just a bunch of plumbers or roofers or electricians who started a business. We're not meant to know this stuff, but we can sure learn it. Is you want to make sure that your website doesn't look like your supplier's website, right? If your website loads up and it's a big, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but like a big Linux across the top of it. Well, a lot of people just think they're on a Linux site. They don't know that they're on whatever your site is, right? So
Hmm.
it should look like you, totally.
Yeah. So, I know a lot of times with, like you were just saying, where they have like the Linux logo or your dealer's logo on it. Sometimes people do that for like a co-op
Yep.
dollar towards their website. Would you recommend just like not getting that co-op in order to maintain the brand awareness and the brand, I guess, ownership of the site?
I totally, you should get that co-op. Go for it, but just realize you can get that co-op with a tiny little Linux logo,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't, and this is, and I'm speaking from experience. Some of my first websites, um, the way they were brought to me and the way it was kind of like talked about is, hey, we'll co-op you, but we want 50% of the page. I'm telling you, you don't need to do that. You can get them down to a corner,
Hmm.
because otherwise you're literally just spending money to advertise for them, when
Yeah.
really it's your company that you're trying to do this for.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of people get really caught up in the co-op, and I think the co-op is great, but if you're spending thousands of dollars on a website and the co-op that you get back for that for meeting the requirements is less than the investment, then it really doesn't seem like a smart investment. Whereas you could just use the co-op. I mean, you can use the co-ops in a lot of different places. From some of these manufacturers and those dealers, they've got co-op for van wraps, for Google ads, for Facebook ads, so you can
Yep.
use it in other ways. Do you ever use the co-op from your dealer or your manufacturer for advertising?
Every penny of it. Yeah,
Yep.
every penny of it. That's you got to use a co-op, and I
Yep.
do use it towards van wraps and business cards and like everything under the sun. Whatever it's just free money that you can utilize it for. But everybody should understand that is it's a negotiated thing. It's something you speak to your suppliers about, and they have their contracts for what they can and can't do, as far as like sizing of their logos and everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that for websites, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having it where you scroll down to the bottom of your page and there's your list of companies that you support, right, or that are co-oping you or whatever.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be on the first thing that when you open your cell phone up, it's like insert whatever and then your company name's below it.
Yeah. So what equipment do you, are you a dealer for?
Oh, we've got a few. So we're Daikin dealers, Aries dealers, Ream, Renai, and York are our
York.
main ones. Yeah.
York's got a pretty good co-op program. We're working with someone right now who's a York dealer, and their co-op seems pretty solid because they'll even reimburse them for like the website and stuff too, which is cool. Some
They-
of
They're
them won't.
all they're all pretty darn good. Yeah,
Yeah.
all their things are pretty darn good,
Yeah.
and we utilize it all every bit we can.
Awesome. Well, what have been some of like the most important lessons learned that you've gained along the years of business ownership?
That's a big question. Um, don't chase any shiny objects. None. Like don't chase after anything that seems too good to be true. Don't don't get distracted. If you are a roofing company, don't get into lawn fertilizer because you heard that it's going to be a little bit more dough or something. Like stick with roofs. Get roofs good. Get it profitable. Make sure that you're making money on every job or close to. Make sure that you have profitable years. Don't jump after that next thing because that's a trap we just see people get into. And I'm running a company that does four trades: plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical. So I understand the dangers here, but I also only go after service work. So I don't chase renovations. I don't chase commercial anymore or new construction. Like I got out of all those things because not that they're not great places to work, but those are outside of my model. So really focus on what you have and make it profitable before looking at doing anything else. Because I guarantee whatever work you're doing should be profitable. It should give you net profit. And
Hmm.
I don't care what trade it is. I don't care what town you're in. It should be profitable. There is nothing else on the other side of the fence that will make you more money than what you're doing now if you do it right.
That's good advice. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times people will, they'll also do something just for that extra business and the little extra money, but what they're really doing is they're just taking away their time and their resources from dedicating it towards what they're actually good at or what they could be making more money in if they didn't take that job and went to the next one.
Exactly. Exactly. If you have time to go and chase down another trade or another venture or something, what could you do in the business you're in? Yeah, that's I think that's the biggest advice I'd have for anybody is just stay focused, stay disciplined, come in and do your job day after day. Being a business owner doesn't mean you don't work. It means you just come in and you're looking at the business to make it work. And running after something else, you're just hiding from your own business. So if it's not working for you and you don't like it, shut her down. Go do something else. But if you do like it and you want it to succeed, then be there, stick with it, love it, make it work. And you don't need something new. You just might need to really have a good look at your business as to if it's profitable or not.
Yeah.
And if
Awesome,
it's
man.
not, raise your price.
Yeah. That's great advice. And I feel like that's advice we haven't gotten yet on this show. A lot of the advice we always get is like you know, hire the right people and they'll take care of it. But that's really good advice because I feel like that's something that especially some of the smaller contractors who are listening to this, um, they're they sometimes will take on jobs that they might not feel like they should take on just so they can make a little extra money. And so,
Yeah.
if you're a smaller contractor listening to this, I think that's some great advice to take away from this episode. Ted, I appreciate you jumping on and being on the podcast with me. Is there anything else that you think that we may have missed about your company that you'd like to talk about before we say our goodbyes?
No, I think it's great that you're out trying to help out contractors. We've all been small contractors, and we've all been, I should say we've all been medium and large ones too. But we've all been there. There's many of us that are out there doing these things. You don't always need a brand new idea. Sometimes you need to listen to a podcast like this to hear a couple nuggets. And I don't think I need to say anything else about my company because I really wanted to come on here for others. So
Yeah.
to give back. So if there's anything I can do to help anybody out there, I think we're stronger together. So
Absolutely.
that's it. Feel free to hit me up.
Cool. Well, what's a good way that they can get a hold of you if they would like to pick your brain or learn more?
My email is it's ted at foxandsons.ca. That's all spelled out. foxandsons.ca.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, we'll leave a link to your email in the show notes as well. So if someone's listening, they can just click on it right away and go straight to their email box. Ted, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
Thanks, Eric.
Hope you have a great rest of your day and an awesome weekend.
You too, my friend.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.